because the things that I'm learning are going to be able to be repeatable and scalable in the future. And that's probably the most important thing of it all. It doesn't matter how much money you put in if you can't make it work over and over again.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what you do for a living?
Yeah, I'm in the world of Olympic sports. I'm the president of USA Diving. Means I run the national federation here in the U.S. for Olympic diving, platform and springboard. And so graduated from University of Michigan, was in transportation for many years, sold my business and in 2019, and then went back into diving. I was a diver growing up, so went back into it and then took over the reins of an organization, and we kind of fixed it. It was broken, and now we've got it in a good place.
What made you want to get into decentralized finance specifically?
There's really two reasons. The first one, the discussion that I had originally with Troy, I think his name was, surrounding, the fact that our assets are in the public domain, and when they are, you're at risk. And when they're not, you're not at risk. And so the ability to control your own assets is one thing that was really powerful, at least to me. The other one is, understanding and being in a position to be able to create a stream of income based upon something that you have complete control over is another thing that I'm very much, it was a big deal to me. It resonated with me really soundly.
What made you feel comfortable entering into a partnership with Decentralized Masters?
I did some research, and I'm a guy who I ask a lot of questions and I talk a lot, and I made sure I looked in, at everything I could, and it's, people were very transparent with me. I was given a lot of information. I was given a lot of latitude to look at very many things, and at the end of the day, results speak for themselves. And people like yourself and Tyler and some other folks that I talked to were very, very open about the fact that this is not something that people get into as a get-rich scheme. This is a way to create some security for yourself, and it's a way to create a legacy for yourself. And both of those things resonated with me. So the trust factor that became about because of a candid conversation, I think, is what really finally made me, take the leap.
How has Decentralized Masters delivered on the promises that were made to you initially?
Every time I've asked a question, I've got an answer. That's a big deal to me. And there's none of them have been evasive. Most everyone I've dealt with has been very, very candid about the idea that you're not always going to like what you see, but you're always going to understand what you see. And the program is very detailed. I think the lessons are good, but it's a combination of lessons with live people who you can ask a question to that will have a real world experience they can share with you. And sometimes it's a matter of just trial and error. You're going to try things, you're going to make mistakes. And then at the end of the day, you have somebody who you can ask a question of, and when you made a mistake and learn how to fix that mistake, that's a process. In my background, that's what I do for a living. I was a teacher at one point, I was a coach at one point, and now I'm an administrator for a system that teaches people. So trial and error is big. And when you have the ability to make a mistake on a very small scale because you're learning a process, and then you can grow it once you learn the process into a much larger scale, that works. It's just a system.
What are your thoughts on decentralized finance as an investment vehicle for the future?
So I think you have to have an ability to think outside the box. I think you have to understand that there's things here that are a lot deeper than what you're normally taught in school, or your normal buy and hold kind of mentality, or even a 401k kind of mentality. That's probably not going to work, moving forward over time. This is one of those things where you have to educate yourself. You have to be reliant upon yourself, and you really can't trust that certain things that have been there historically are going to continue to be there. If you will take that mentality, and if you'll take a look at, I need to educate and grow my abilities, and I need to do it on my own, and then I can use that to create a better future for myself. I think that's really where we're at. There's no other avenue that I've found that fits that same mold, as opposed to, your normal typical trail, or I'm not even sure what to call, a pathway to financial success.
How has Decentralized Masters impacted your ability to sift through the noise and differing opinions in the crypto space?
Well, so that's interesting. You should say that, because there's so much ridiculous stuff out there. I mean, there's so much information, depending on what you want to listen to and where you want to go, and you can take all day to filter through a bunch of nonsense. But at the end of the day, if you can talk with people who are already successful, have a formula that works, regardless of whether you agree with the formula or not, you can see that it works. They can talk you through the landmines that you would otherwise run into. And sometimes it's a matter of you have to be real critical. You can't be gullible. You have to be real critical of what you're hearing. And when you are critical about it, if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not real. If it makes sense, dig a little deeper. Does it make sense at this level? Yes, it works here. Okay, good. Let's go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper. And that's what I found with you folks. You guys have gone to the deepest levels and you're making it work. So, I mean, that's why I believe in what you're teaching.
Would you say your investment into Decentralized Masters has been worth it from a monetary perspective?
Yeah, as far as a return goes, we're still working on that avenue. But as far as an educational investment goes, I would say absolutely, because the things that I'm learning are going to be able to be repeatable and scalable in the future. And that's probably the most important thing of it all. It doesn't matter how much money you put in if you can't make it work over and over again.
What would you say to someone who is thinking about joining Decentralized Masters or getting into the decentralized finance space in general?
I'd say two things. First of all, do your due diligence and do your research, because you have to convince yourself of the validity of what you're talking about. And then once you do, don't wait for some perfect situation. Jump in and get started and learn. You're going to make mistakes. We all do. But the reality is that the sooner you get started learning, the better you'll be.
Would you recommend Decentralized Masters to someone who's thinking about joining?
I would. And I think it's important, again, do your own due diligence, but please don't stop yourself with that. It's whole paralysis by analysis discussion. Don't do that to yourself.